So, last night in the protests, USA Today reporters got arrested. Earlier in the show, I showed you how close I was. Like, I was literally, like, right next to them for a large amount of, the 10 minutes before shit got serious. You know what I mean? Like, when you're in these situations, right, there's, like, time dilation, right? Like, as soon as you see the cops, like, start running for people, it's like, okay, all right, right? And then, like, you just retrace your steps, and that's like, oh, wait, that was only, like, a 3 minute, I think. But anyway, so we basically went by the little headquarters stationed in downtown Elizabeth City, where they have the school buses and the little military checkpoints and their, like, little gun collections. And so as a result, they started arresting people. Now, to my understanding, from what someone told me, is that when the police started arresting people, the person whoever gave the order said, grab them, grab everyone. That's what I was told. I don't know if that's going to be audible. I don't know if this has audio. Does it have audio? Like, is the audio seriously this low? Like, so, okay, so the video doesn't have audio. Why? Like, what? The video? Like, what? I'm sorry. Like, come on. Like, it's USA Today. Give some audio boost. But as you can see, she's being arrested. And so that's just crazy. They just started grabbing everyone. They started specifically targeting members of the media, people that are loud. And like, again, earlier, I was pretty fucking loud. I literally, like, I would be like maybe 10% likely that there's a chance that like saliva remnants from my face entered the personal atmosphere of a cop because I was yelling at them from such a close distance. With that being said, let's read the article. 2 reporters for the USA Today network were arrested on Wednesday night while covering a protest in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Ayano Nagaishi and Allison Cutler, government watchdog reporters for the Staunton News Leader, were reporting on a small protest for Andrew Brown Jr., an unarmed black man who was shot and killed by deputies in Elizabeth City. About 50 people had gathered to demand transparency and release the body camera footage. Now, that's poorly worded, I will say. About 50 people gathered. That's not the order of operations. There is not correct. Like, we had a couple hundred people gather earlier in the day, and then at this point, this was just like the end of the crowd of people that hadn't gone home yet, right? That's not like, it's not like people gathered in that, like only 50 people specifically gathered in that interaction. No, it was just the remnants of the crowd that already existed that was much larger. So I'm just throwing that out there. So there's a filming of a Twitter Live. Police approached, asked, ladies in the vest. Again, the vest says news media. It's just crazy. Yeah, Nagaishi and Cutler were wearing their media vests. They repeatedly identified as media as they were being cuffed. Now, again, I was next to that. I've spoken to them a couple times, right? Like, they've got this whole thing. They've got the big fucking vests. They've got the badges. They've got all of that motherfucking shit. And it's crazy. A citizen was holding Nagaishi's phone to film the arrest, and an officer confiscated the phone and put it in Nagaishi's pocket. Cutler was put in the front of the van with 2 other people, while Nagaishi was in the back with 6 others. To my understanding, someone had a medical emergency and had a panic attack in the back of the van as well. Again, I'm just like, let me look for that video, because that's just like, to me, that's such valuable information to me. But I don't have the video, so like, it's just not readily available for me, the video. But either way, okay, so yeah, I have this video. Check this out. So I have them being hauled off of the van. I'm right here. So this is them being hauled off of the motherfucking van. Check this out. This is my video. Isn't that crazy? Like, that, you're reading an article from USA Today, and it's like, yep, this is where I'm at. POV, right? So this is them being hauled off. As you can see, that, like, look, there's the fucking vests, right? Like, and look at all the fucking little KKK Klan members with their little flex cuffs on their fucking, like, arms, and look at them. Look at that. Like, these people are embarrassing. And look at this motherfucker. This guy's like, right? Like, what is that? It's incredible. If you wanted to like watch this like clip or whatever, like I've got audio. Like I'm speaking out really loud.
Being in that illegal arrest.
Like look at that. I'm like going in on these motherfuckers. But anyway, so yeah, so there's the other reporter who is being marched in. So again, when they got handcuffed and arrested, we went down to the jail to provide them support. And so again, that's where I was during that whole interaction. It's pretty fucking crazy, right? Like that shit's crazy. Man, these cops are out of motherfucking control. Let's go back to this. 2 journalists clearly identified in doing their job should have never been arrested in the first place. She said these senseless attacks on press freedom must stop. All right, there you go. There you go. Wednesday's night's arrest happened about 5 minutes after police and protesters dispersed from a tent scene on a larger main street shortly before 9 p.m. Police threatened to arrest protesters for a law that prohibits, according to their announcement, standing, sitting, or lying on a street or roadway. Now again, that's when we went to the sidewalk. Protesters walked several blocks on the sidewalk and came to a street where 2 white police inmate transport buses were parked. Those are the videos I showed earlier. Those buses had additional police inside. This is actually a pretty good report. This is pretty good. Hell yes. Police declared an unlawful assembly just before 8:30 p.m. Brown 42. Okay. All right. So that's pretty decent reporting. I got all that on film. But again, shit's crazy. We live in a police state. This is a military occupation. Y'all need to get your shit together. We don't have a First Amendment. You need to understand this. Like I'm telling you this right now. First Amendment doesn't exist. Right now, I need like. This isn't like, you know, like you're playing a video game and like you choose the hard difficulty or the easy mode, right? Like this isn't like there's rules built into the system, right? And those, like, it's not like gravity, motherfucker. This isn't like, you know, like the way, like the speed of light. Like, you need to understand here, the First Amendment doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything, right? If you can be arrested while you're clearly identifying as press, right, in a country that has freedom of the press, like, I got news for you, motherfucker. That's not in effect. The freedom of the press is not in effect. We do not live in a country that has the right to freedom of the press. That doesn't exist. Like, I'm telling you, like, you need to understand the Constitution is a suggestion. What really matters, and the only thing that matters, is what people in power do with their power, and whether or not the brown shirts that carry out their will go along with it. That's what matters. Right? So if a Nazi commander says, round up the reporters, round up these people, round up those people, and the brown shirts actually do it, that's a problem. Right? Now, if the brown shirts were to stand up and say, First Amendment, actually, officer, Nazi, SS, whatever the fuck your name is, First Amendment, this is the USA, this isn't Nazi Germany, what are you doing, sir? Right? Guess what? That doesn't exist. That's a fantasy world. That's not going to happen. These motherfuckers are going to carry out their orders like good little boys. They're little doggies. They're toy soldiers. Right? And you need to understand that. There is no First Amendment. There is, Second Amendment, like, what are you kidding me? Third Amendment, Fourth Amendment? They literally had cops stationed at colleges. They kicked out college students to have cops, military officers, occupy Elizabeth City. Third Amendment? You might be wondering, remember when you were in school, right, and you were reading the Bill of Rights, and you're like, oh, wait, you can't have military soldiers quartering in your house? That's such a weird rule. And then your teacher was like, yeah, but that was a big problem back then, so they just wrote it in there, right? And it's like, whoa, wait a second, back then, what, motherfucker? They violated the Third motherfucking Amendment. So I need you to understand, right? The First Amendment, gone. The Third Amendment, gone. Like, you can even say the Second Amendment is gone. Like, the Second Amendment says that we have the freedom of a well-regulated militia. Clearly, these officers are not well-regulated. If officers are beating the shit out of protesters and tasing them because their fifis get hurt, they're clearly not a well-regulated militia. So that's a little bit of a stretch, but bear with me here, right? But you understand what I'm saying here. There is no such thing as the Constitution. There is no law. There is no order. The only thing that matters, the literal only thing that matters, are what people with power do with their power in those moments where their power is exercised or can be exercised. That's the only thing that matters, right? The First Amendment's not going to stop a cop from arresting a journalist. That's not going to happen, right? It's not like the fucking, like, God is going to shine down, woo, right? The cloud's going to appear and light's going to come out and then say, bitch, motherfucker, are you violating the First Amendment? You better unarrest that person. Like, that's not going to happen. We don't live in that goddamn fantasy world. So you need to understand, there is no fucking First Amendment. There's no 3rd, 4th, 5th, 29th, fucking 79th, 69th, right? They all don't fucking exist. None of them exist. And I want to look at you like, again, one of my other favorites, the 14th fucking amendment, right? That says you cannot commit an insurrection against the United States and still hold public office. What the fuck's going on, man? January 6th and we still have a Republican Party? What happened to the 14th Amendment? Guess what? Again, like I said, the only thing that matters is what people with power do with their power at that moment, right? So the January 6th happened, right? And the 14th Amendment only got like 50 supporters. And therefore, whoops. Oh, like, and think about that. I just think about that all the time. Like, I think, okay, like, they had a fucking, like, thing to, like, exercise the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment exists. It's in the Constitution. What do you mean exercise the 14th Amendment? Like, if it was the, like, I'm going off the handle here. Like, if the 14th Amendment was in the it was a constitutional right that you cannot commit an insurrection and still hold public office. If that were constitutionally, like, protected, if that were a thing that's emboldened and enshrined in the Constitution, you wouldn't need to have people vote. You wouldn't need to oh, should we have a vote on the 14th Amendment? What vote? The 14th Amendment, it's already been ratified. It's already there. It exists. Just use it. You don't need to vote for anything. What the fuck are you voting for? Like, it's just like, it's so bizarre. Right? It's so fucking bizarre. What, you voting on the 14th? Well, just kick them out. They violated the 14th fucking amendment. Just kick them out. It's that easy. Right? But again, like, this whole thing is just like, Anyway, there is no press freedom. This is a military state. This is a police state. You are not free. You only exist because people in power just want you to or just don't care about you enough. That's the only, like, I'm telling you this right now. You are not free. You do not live in a free world. If you were living in the United States of America, at least, you do not live in a free world. You do not have First Amendment rights. You do not have Second Amendment, 4th, 5th, 7th, 9th, 15th, 20th. You have no rights. You have nothing. You are alone. You have nothing. The government does not care about you. The state does not care about you. They will fuck you up at a moment's notice if you even look at them funny. Like, I need you to understand this. This is not like, oh, but there's some good. No, motherfucker. No, motherfucker. Again, I want to play this video. I want this video to be just, like, look at this. They are marching. Journalists. From USA Today. This isn't like me, like, you know, going out there with my cell phone. Hey, I have a YouTube show. Trust me, guys. No, these are people, credentialed journalists from a major organization. Do you see any of these cops turn around and say, hey, bro, what about the First Amendment? Why are you arresting her? You see them? You see the cops turn around and say, yo, unlawful arrest, bro. What are you doing? You see them? Law enforcement? Hey, remember the law that says, you know, First Amendment right? Law enforcement? Are they enforcing the laws right now? No. Right? But they're law enforcement. That's what they call themselves. They're law enforcement. So why aren't they enforcing the laws? You know what I mean? Right? Like, you understand this, right? Like you understand. These are law enforcement officials. That's their job. Like, this is their job. They get paid a salary to enforce law. Right? But they're just not doing that. Like, look at them. They're not doing that. Why aren't they enforcing the law? Right, because they're not law enforcement. They're pigs. They're Nazis. They're fucking, like, it's a military occupation. We don't live in a free country. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to fucking tell you. This isn't a free country. You don't have rights. There are no rights. When you say my First Amendment right, I'm sorry. What First Amendment right? There is no First Amendment. There is no Constitution. There is no Bill of Rights. None of it is real. None of it exists. It's not here. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, that's what happened. It's crazy. Shit's crazy, man. Out of control. There's no dissent among the cops doing it either. Nobody asking if they ought to be doing this. And that's what, like, when I was there, like, you know, in the videos here that I keep popping up, I'm just screaming at them with the First Amendment, like, and what it says. I don't want to, like, I haven't, like, gone through the audio of what's, like, playable here, but.
The first freedom of the press.
Look at that. You see them, though?
Amendment to the United States Constitution.
Right, look at that. You see that? Are they enforcing the law?
Y'all are the good guys, right?
No one enforcing the law?
You're the good guys, right?
Look at this guy's, like, look at this guy. He's doing a little dance routine. You see that shit? Look at his foot. What are you doing? Like, what is that? Look at that. You doing a little fucking, what is that? I don't know what's going on. Look at that school bus, though. Look at that shit. Like, isn't this this is, like, I'm glad, like, look at the, like, what are you doing? Like, what is this? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm serious. Like, there's just, like, fucking buses flying around. There's, like, what is going on, bro? But again, law enforcement, okay, buddy, sure. Like, and I'm a fucking rock star. All right. Like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, all right, you're law enforcement. Okay, buddy. Right? All right. And I walked on the moon. Sure. Lord have fucking mercy.